How's it going, everyone? Wayne the Unknown here, and welcome to another episode of Cosplay Con Talk, where we basically discuss everything pertaining to the cosplay community and conventions. Tonight, we are doing another episode on Get to Know That Cosplayer, and tonight's featured cosplay guest is Grae Scaled. How are we doing tonight, Tia?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing really well.
Me too.
Again, thank you for coming on to want to be a guest for this podcast series that I've been doing for quite a while now.
Of course. I've never done a podcast interview before, so this is really cool.
Oh, nice. That's good to know. So this is your first cosplay. Also, I take it this is your first cosplay podcast as well.
Yes.
Nice. Well, that's good. So usually, some of the questions I ask, I'm sure if you took a look at the series,
Hmm.
like it's basically get to know that cosplayers to get to know that cosplayer, like how they started out, what got them into cosplay, stuff like that. What was their first con?
Yeah.
So, to begin, what got you into cosplaying?
I was living in a house with a bunch of nerds, and they were all cosplayers, and convinced me to join in on the fun for a convention by our house, and I've stuck with it ever since.
Nice. What was your very first convention?
The very first convention was I think Medford Comic Con. It was held in their like local library.
Yep,
It's
I
very tiny.
I remember Medford Comic Con very well.
Okay, yeah, that's probably where we met, if not a different con.
Um,
Um,
yeah, I would. It was Medford Comic Con 2017 was my first con.
okay, yeah, mine too. Okay, so
Nice.
then yeah, that was the very first one. We found out about it like 3 days before, and so I had my very first con crunch, and it was great. And somehow, for whatever reason, I decided to stick with it.
Hey, that's always good. Do you remember what your very first cosplay was for that con?
It was Baby Doll from Sucker Punch, the movie.
Oh, okay. I remember. I remember now. I actually think
Yeah.
if I go back to my the Instagram, I think I actually got a. I think I asked you for a picture of your baby doll from that movie.
Oh, nice. I'll have to hunt that down.
I'll make sure to tag you in it if I haven't already.
Okay, cool.
What was it like cosplaying her? I know the movie's not really well known. I've only seen it once, but I know who the character is. She's like the main character, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I specifically chose something that was a little generic for anime, which is like a schoolgirl uniform, but I didn't want to just be like Sailor Moon or anything. And I had just watched the movie, so I was like, I could probably pull this off pretty quickly. And it was a lot of stress and redoing things and things going wrong last minute, but it ended up working out in the end.
That's always good. Now what was it? I think I asked this. What did you think of Medford Comic Con? I know it's like a small con and everything, but what did you think of it as your first con?
I think small cons are a really good way to get into conventions because it's less overwhelming. I thought it was really cute. It was charming. A lot of stuff was free.
That's the best.
Medford is already such a small community, so just seeing all the little nerds come out was very, very nice.
Oh yeah, no, I have to say Medford. The con scene in Medford has definitely grown over the past few
Oh, no.
years for sure.
I believe it.
Now, trying to blank here. Um, oh. So did you for Baby Doll? Did you make the cosplay, or did you buy the stuff, or how'd you go about her?
Oh, I made it. I stressed out over that for those 3 days, so it's very still in my head like it was yesterday. I remember the top was a shirt I already had that I just cropped to be shorter because I wasn't comfortable making shirts yet. But the skirt I made out of a bed sheet I got from a thrift store. I actually made a skirt before that out of gray fabric that I used from a bed sheet that I already had, and I was thinking I could just dye it all blue at the end, and then I found out the hard way that polyester fabric does not take take regular dye at all. So I had to redo the skirt out of the white bed sheet, and then dye it again. And then it turned purple when it should have been blue. So I had to buy black dye at like midnight from Walmart the night before, and then re-dyed it, and it came out as a halfway decent color. So I went through all of the stress in those 3 days leading up to a very tiny con.
So you said that that certain material didn't take the right kind of dye. What happened exactly with that?
I used like regular RIT dye instead of like poly dye on a polyester fabric, and polyester fabric won't absorb any of the dye from a regular bottle of dye. It has to be a polyester dye. So when I soaked it and pulled it out, it looked exactly the same. It was just wet. And I had to like do a Google search of like, oh, does polyester work with this kind of dye? And it was like, no, you need a different dye. I was like, great. Well, I have work right now, so I can't really deal with this anymore. I have to wait till midnight tomorrow.
I'm actually just found the picture right now. Yeah, it was yeah, Medford Comic Con 2017. You were with a Harley Quinn and a Metaton cosplayer.
Yes, Harley Quinn and Metaton are both my roommates. The Metaton is my best friend, Emily. Love her.
Nice.
Uh, so yeah, she already had that just hanging around in her closet. I think she was at for Halloween the year before.
Nice.
So she was just ready to go. I was the only one stressing out.
So, what was it like? What's it like making your own cosplays?
I have a lot of fun with it. I've always liked sewing, so having a reason to do it year round and constantly be inspired by things around you that you see on media or whatever is just too much enabling for me and my bank account. So yeah, I enjoy it. I take as much creative liberty as I want, and I have fun.
Nice. That's. I think that's all you should. That all should really be when you're cosplaying.
Yeah,
It's just having fun and being yourself and cosplaying whoever you want. And
exactly.
in my opinion, no matter your height, weight, race, cosplays for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. I never really understood why people take cosplay so seriously and kind of gatekeep it. I'm like, it's no different than like joining, I don't know, like a knitting club. Like, I'd never show up and be like, you can't knit that. You're too tall to knit that. You weirdo. Like, what?
No, exactly. On that subject, being a person of color when cosplaying, has there been any like challenges you've faced when cosplaying a certain character? Because I know some cosplayers who are of color usually get like the hate or the gatekeeping. I know it's kind of a double-edged sword when asking that question.
Yeah, I personally have been lucky to not have to deal with that. But I am always kind of like cringing, kind of waiting for it to happen. Wait for the hate comments, or especially in like photos that other people post of you, because that's not a comment section you can particularly control. So I always get a little bit nervous, like going onto other people's pages with my photo just to see what their picture, or what their commenters are going to say. But I've been fortunate to not receive any hate yet. So um I don't know, it's weird kind of like waiting for it or like expecting it
That's,
in a hobby, but it is
I mean,
kind of the truth of what's happening here.
that's totally understandable. I know a lot of people have their own experiences. Um, any advice you'd like to give out there to the people of color who cosplay who may get that hate? If any advice you'd like to share?
You know, because I have an experience, any advice I give is a lot just easier said than done. But I just say, just don't let it bother you. I kind of came into cosplay knowing that I was planning on pissing people off. Like, my goal was to do all the Disney princesses, and hardly any of them are black. So most of them are white. So I was already kind of prepared for like people to get mad at me for doing it. But I personally don't care because I'm paying for it, and this is what makes me happy, and I wouldn't let anyone take that away from me. So
I mean,
don't let that, don't let any random on the internet or just anyone ever at all in your life take that away from you. If you enjoy it, do it.
so in short, just you're basically doing it for you, no one else. You've put that work and effort into something that you enjoy, and you shouldn't let someone's negative comments get to you.
Oh, exactly. Like if you can find a friend base that can kind of keep you grounded and keep you, happy and feeling supported in this community, then do that and just focus on your projects and your friends and having fun with it. Don't focus on anyone who's like trying to hate you on the internet. Don't let that ever concern you.
Some really sound advice. Now, you were saying you cosplayed some Disney princesses. Who would you say your favorite Disney princess was to cosplay?
I haven't done nearly as many of them as I thought I would have done by now. I've done Belle, but really just in my house. Like I don't think I've even worn them to a con yet. So I am unsure at the moment. They're both very pretty, I think, and very comfortable. And I'd love to take them to a con, but unfortunately Belle happened during quarantine or right before quarantine. So I never got to take her out to a convention. But I'm hoping.
Well, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are looking forward to seeing your Belle. Now, on the topic of making your own cosplays again, what would you say the hardest cosplay that you ever had it made for a con? Like there was just nothing but trial and error, but in the end, it was definitely worth it, despite going through all that horrendous nightmare of getting it done.
The most difficult. That is a good question. Um, Most difficult. I don't even know. Because I don't really do anything that scares me too much. I've had like difficult fabrics to work with, and I've made mistakes on things that honestly I feel like I'm my own like worst worst hindrance when it comes to things. Um, Maybe Belle, like the ball gown. I made her for WonderCon. Uh, I think 2019, 2018, one of those years. And it was the petticoat. The petticoat took 3 days to make, and the rest of the dress took like 1 day to make.
I know it's like
And I
a
did that like the week before the convention, so that was probably the most stressful.
oh yeah, I mean her. I know her like her dress, like the yellow ball again. That's just a lot of poofage.
Yeah, it's a lot of fabric. I think I used like 25 yards just for the petticoat,
And how much does
and
someone like usually weigh?
I have no idea. Honestly, I don't think it was that heavy, and a lot of it is secured to your waist, which I mean, women carry most of their weight in their like waist and hips, so it wasn't particularly heavy. If I had to guess, like maybe 7 pounds total, which isn't that much because if you, I mean, I'm a geek when it comes to costumes and movies.
Hey,
The
there's nothing wrong
Cinderella
with
dress
that.
weighed like 12 or 15 pounds, so 7 pounds of dress is nothing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, I gotta ask, about your Instagram, who's the
Yeah.
mushroom character you're cosplaying as?
Oh, it's not a character. I saw all the cute like mushroom fairy looks that happened in like May and June, and I wanted to make one. I'd been kind of sitting on it for a while. I had all the elements since like May, and I finally like put it on and photographed it. So it was just like I guess an OC, but she's unnamed.
Nice.
I don't really use OCs that often.
Hey, that's it's okay. So I gotta ask, what
Yeah.
fabric did you use for the mushroom cap?
Um, the dress and the white part underneath the cap are made out of like a cotton gauze fabric, and then the red part of the cap is made from felt. And I believe these spots on the top that you can't really see are also made from felt.
That's that's really and that's a lot of felt, but it looked like it was.
Yeah.
So how does that fit on your head?
I made like a hat structure out of I think foam board and cardboard. Um, and kind of make like a big circle with a circle on the inside for your head to fit in, and then make like two crosses over over the inner circle to sit on your head so that it stays, like a hat. And then
Nice.
I put a lot of interfacing on the inside to make it fluffy like a mushroom.
I mean, it looks really well done.
Thank you. It's really lightweight and comfortable. I had it lying around one day after I made it while I was cleaning up, and my cat ended up taking a nap on it. And it was like one of those things where I don't let her sit on my costumes, but she looked so cute. I wasn't even mad. It
Aww.
didn't do any damage to it. I was like, whatever. But I couldn't believe I turned around and she was curled up on it.
Aww. Now, what are your thoughts on thrifting, especially if you're a cosplayer on a budget, you don't have a whole lot of money, but you have enough to like go to a thrift store and throw something together, whether it be just for an original character or like whatever.
I always try to thrift as much as possible. Um, I only really had to deal with like the struggles of being a cosplayer in a small town with like no downtown like fashion district. My very first year cosplaying, because I lived in Medford and there isn't much around there, so I had like maybe a choice of like three different thrift stores and the local Joann's, and that was kind of it when it came to like my sources. But bed sheets are a great way to get fabric, even just for like a muslin. Like bed sheets are perfect for that. Or if you need to make something out of cotton, get that. Um, Thrifting is great if you don't want to make, full jackets or like button up shirts. Like that's get like basics are really good to thrift. Shoes also, because I always feel guilty buying shoes just to like glue a bunch of stuff to them. So I'll get shoes from the thrift store and then I can alter them as much as I want and not feel bad about it. Um, you can go to Joann's or like any other fabric store. Just make sure if they have coupons, use as many coupons as they'll let you use, because fabric is expensive.
Oh no, and I know Joanne's is like a cosplayer's favorite place, especially with like people like Yaya Han have her own fabric line for people to use for their
Oh,
cosplays.
yeah. I worked at Joann's for a couple of years and I loved working there during convention season because you can just tell when a cosplayer is into
Which one's a cosplayer is.
Yeah, they're the ones that go straight to like the nice fabrics or the Yaya hand and look like they know what they're looking for and don't ask too many questions. Everyone else is just like, I need to make a ball gown. I don't know how to do that. Well, 2 yards of just cotton do? And I'm like, no, sweetie. No, it won't.
What's that one cosplay you haven't done in so long that, if given the chance, you would want to bring it back?
Oh, Allura from Voltron. I plan on bringing her back.
Ooh.
I miss her. I had a gown in mind for her like years ago, like 2 or 3 years ago. I already had this idea, but I never had the time or occasion to like bring it to life. But now I kind of just don't care because I have so many supplies for it. I really just want to get it out of my house.
Such a that's a really that's a really good character. It's now this is from the new Voltron, right? That came out a few years ago.
Yeah, Voltron Legendary Defender. I was very unhappy about the ending, and I'm not
I've
going to talk about that now.
I
But
haven't I haven't I watched probably like before the last season. It's just like I couldn't get into it. It looked
oh yeah,
great. Like the
don't
animation
watch the last.
the animation was great.
The animation was great. The characters are really great. Most of the storyline was great. A lot of us don't talk about season 8,
I
and
just
that's fine with me.
I just remember from like 2017 to 2018
Yeah.
there was nothing but Voltron cosplayers. Keith, Lance,
Oh yeah.
Allure, so many Allures in 2019. Oh
Oh
gosh,
yeah.
I'm
I
not
love
even.
it. I love seeing any Allure cosplayer. I know people get like, I don't know, competitive when they see other like mimic, like doubles of their cosplay.
Oh
But I'm
yeah.
like, give me all the lures. We can take over the world together in our white hair and blue eyes and pink things on our cheek, like whatever.
Oh man, that's again such a great character. Now same kind of question. What's the one cosplay that was like kind of a one and done cosplay? Like you done it once and you would never want to bring it back.
One and done. I don't know. I feel like I honestly kind of thought all of them would be like that, and then I kept wearing some of them. Um, One and done cosplay. I'm not sure. I think I'm attached to all of them. I feel like I probably won't wear any of the things I made for Harley Quinn before, but I would like to redo her.
Which
So I
version
don't.
of Harley Quinn would you want to do?
Um, I really like the Birds of Prey outfit, like her very first outfit with the jacket and
Oh, that the weird puffy type yellow jacket she wears.
yeah, or her yellow jumpsuit with the roller skates is really
Ooh,
cute.
that'd be
So
pretty.
probably some.
That'd
And I
be
think
pretty
there's
cool
a
to
new movie
see.
though.
Yeah, the new Suicide Squad. I know a lot of people are wanting to cosplay her red dress look.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think I'll ever wear the cosplay I made for that before, which wasn't a bad one. It's just kind of boring. Um, but I would like to redo Harley Quinn.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, for someone who recently started cosplaying since
Mhm.
2017, any advice you want to give for the for first time cosplayers and con goers who are thinking about going to their first con or convention? I mean, first cosplay or convention with COVID restrictions being lifted here and there.
Advice would be don't let anyone tell you that you're not allowed to cosplay something. That's just first and foremost. Um, Make sure you're safe in all your situations. Conventions are just they can be really big events with a lot of different people, and the only thing that I've really had to concern myself over is like people getting a little handsy, especially like grown men with cameras. So if you are a minor, take an adult with you. It can be an adult friend, just someone that can watch over you at all times, because I'd hate for something traumatic to happen in this kind of situation where you're just trying to have fun.
Yeah, no, cosplay doesn't equal consent, and as I usually will say in some of these podcasts,
Yeah.
to quote Crush from Finding Nemo, make sure you have an exit buddy.
Yes, exactly.
I can't stress that
I've only ever
enough.
had one heart attack at a convention, and it was when I lost. I usually like take like watch over like a group. Well, at the time they were like between 14 and 17,
So you're the
so they
cosplay
were my
mom.
baby. Yes, they were my cosplay children. They're still my babies. I still call them my babies now, even though most of them are like 18 now and could care less. But at the time, my youngest at the time, I think, was like 12, and she went missing for all of 5 minutes.
Oh no.
But in the in the big event room, like the buyers area, I
Oh,
don't know what that is
the vendors
called.
hall.
Yes, she went missing in there for all of like five,
Oh,
10 minutes.
it could be a labyrinth.
It is
And
exactly.
especially if you go to SAC Anime and that vendors hall, you're shoulder to shoulder with
Exactly.
everyone, and there are so many cosplayers who are tall, and like you can easily get lost in a vendors hall at a big con.
Exactly. And this was a couple of years ago, and I'd worn Allure for the first time. I think it was either I want to say AX, but it might have been LA Comic Con.
Whew, those are big.
Um,
Those are big cons in itself, especially
exactly. They're really big
LAX.
cons. She was 12 and like for nothing, like just tiny.
Oh, dang.
And losing her in the crowd was the scariest thing. So now, whenever we go back, I plan on bringing walkie-talkies and just like handing them, like, you keep that so that I can find you. We can communicate because a lot of conventions have no service
Oh no,
or like really slow service.
the bigger conventions are like certain areas are dead zones. Good luck.
Exactly. So I'm like, we're gonna
That's
take these walkie-talkies
that's not
and
a
we're
bad
gonna
idea of a
exchange.
walkie-talkie system for those who are listening. If you know if a con has dead service, bring a walkie-talkie. That's I mean that's some really sound advice.
Yeah,
That's
I learned
definitely
that
a
from
con safety and awareness thing right there.
exactly. Yeah, I learned that from my friend. Oh, Emily, the one who's Metaton. We went to the Renaissance Fair and we had a big group, And so, we gave every like 2 people a walkie-talkie so we could always stay connected. And it's a great idea, especially if you have younger people or just like a big group.
Oh yeah,
Some
no,
people
that
want to go
that
to a panel, others have a photo shoot, some want to go buy stuff. It's just easy.
I mean, you see security at cons have walkie-talkies, so I
Exactly.
think if the con will allow it, which I'm sure
Yeah.
most cons will, like these ones did. Yeah, no, a walkie-talkie system. That's a really smart idea. That's especially if if you're like in a group of 5 or people, and like you
Hmm.
said, this group wants to do this group wants to do that, and if you guys want to meet, just say, hey, look at the con map and say, all right, this is where we're going to meet at this time.
Yeah, and it's just it's nice to be able to have like easy access to help if you need it. You don't have to worry about phones not working or whatever. Walkie talkies are usually quiet even when they're on. So
Oh yeah, no, most definitely. And I'm glad you agree about the whole cosplay does not equal consent thing. I'm not sure if you had your fair share of that experience where, some congoers just don't know that no means no.
oh yeah, it's rarely a con goer. I've had to like yell at people for like looking at my underage children for too for way too long, way too creepily. I've had a couple of like handsy photographers try to like sneak a hand somewhere while taking a photo. I'm like, no, no, we're
always
not doing that.
always ask, it's photographers like that give photographers like I've done cosplay photography, but I've always asked, it gives the good photographers a bad rep to where no cosplayer may not want to have a photo. And I've seen like stories on Instagram where a cosplayer will find out that someone took a photo with them without their consent, and then it's just a nightmare from what I've heard and seen.
Yeah, I feel like we don't talk enough about like photography safety, but you really can't just go to anyone. I know that there's a lot of just look for someone online and see if they'll take your picture. This one takes good pictures. Ask them to take pictures of you, but you really need to know your photographer.
Do your research.
Do your research, but look at their page and see what kind of work they do and see if you'll be comfortable doing any of what they've shown. And but really you need to know the person, and if you don't, take someone or someone's with you. Like, don't ever go to a photo shoot alone.
No, take a
Especially if
friend.
you're a minor. But
Also,
buddy system 100%.
I'm sure it's also best to ask previous cosplayers who've had their photo taken, hey, what's this
Oh
photographer
yeah.
like? It's like ask around, do your research, and if a cosplayer really feels uncomfortable, find a close friend who's done photography.
Exactly. Yeah, photography is so popular that I'm pretty sure you know someone with a good camera who knows how to use it in your own circle. Like, you probably don't have to outsource as much as you think you do. So,
No, and plus you're saving money too at the same time.
yeah. And I mean, I don't mind supporting an artist at all, like, by all means. And I've worked with some really good photographers before, but it's just important to, stay safe first and worry about your photos second.
Oh no, definitely.
You've been traumatized through that, photo session. You're not going to want to use those pictures anyway, so you might as well worry about your safety first.
Exactly, safety first, exactly. Now we got a few minutes to go here. Do you have any future cosplays planned? Like, it's a character you've always wanted to do, and you're hoping to do it someday?
Oh, so many. I'm like, what do I have planned right now? I have a couple of dresses for Persephone cosplays, for
Ooh,
Olympus.
such
I've
a
been
such a good
putting
web
on.
series.
Oh, it's so good. I'm obsessed with it. I love it so much. I want to spoil Persephone as much as possible, with as many cosplays as possible. Um, I have a lot of fabric for a lot of projects. It's whether or not I actually get to them is the issue right now. I was hoping to have Allure done sometime in the fall, but I haven't even started that yet, so who knows?
Now, your Persephone, I've seen that some of your Persephone, you've used arm socks. What is that like
Yeah.
for cosplaying such a well-known character like Persephone from Lower Olympus?
Oh, please, if you see any character that is not a normal color, that is, like a primary color, get arm socks. Do not. I mean, if you really want to paint your whole body, by all means, but to save your own life, save your own tub, just get arm socks. They're not difficult to make.
Or buy.
You can buy them now. Yeah, they're pretty easy to get you online now. Just get you some arms because I promise you, like sweating alone, sweating into paint will not be fun.
Oh,
So don't do it.
I'm fully aware of. I'm fully aware of that.
Yeah. So I don't think I ever once considered just painting my entire body for Persephone. I started off with arm socks and I will end with arm socks.
I mean, now that they also make full body suits too, if you need it.
Exactly. I prefer arm socks just because having two pieces, it's easy to like get out of. Like if you have to take a bathroom break or something. Because convention bathrooms can have a really long line sometimes, so you don't want to.
Luckily, I haven't had to experience that yet.
Oh, okay. Well, when you do, just know.
I'll keep that in mind
Usually a
if I'm
hidden
ever
bathroom
wearing.
somewhere.
I'll keep that in mind if I ever do wear arm socks in the future.
Oh yeah, please wear arms. Do yourself a favor. Do your bathtub a favor.
I've heard.
We got to clean it off at some point. So.
I've heard stories that I mentioned to cosplayers about a Undertale cosplayer and a Sharpie bathtub.
Oh no, that already sounds bad.
I haven't heard much of that. I would love to hear more, but anyway. Now, before we end this, any last minute advice you would like to give to the to those who are listening?
Yes, have fun. Do whatever makes you happy. Um, don't be afraid to alter your costume to make it more comfortable. There's a lot of cosplays that I've done where the character will have a strapless shirt or dress, and I always add straps on it because it makes me feel comfortable and secure. So do whatever makes you feel comfortable and pretty and sparkly, and that's all that matters. If you live in the Los Angeles area, please take so much use out of the fabric district downtown. You will save so much money. Do not give all your money to Joann's, and and just have fun. Just honestly, just do it to have fun because this should be about fun. And if you're spending your own money on it, don't ever let someone else tell you that they don't like it or that it should be changed because they're not paying for it. You are. So do what makes you happy.
That's some really good advice.
Thank you.
So that should about wrap it up. Again, Tia, thank you for coming on to Cosplay Con Talks. Get to know that cosplayer. I'm sure those who will listen will take what you said to heart. It's always I always like when I always ask a cosplayer for last minute advice, especially something I learned too, and those who listen. So yeah, again, thank you for coming on, and as always, everyone. You're very welcome. As always, everyone, thank you for listening. And until next time, thank you for watching.